Hello, I'm Stu, or you may know me as SMTV. Today, I will be delving into the depths of download and taking a look at RIP, Sleepy Hollow to be exact, and take a look at what you get in contrast to general camping. Having had experience of both styles of camping at Download Festival, I do like to think I'm in a good position to advise on what I think is the best option, which I think is most cost effective, which I prefer, and ultimately which one I would like to recommend to you. I have a number of categories that I'm going to cover today. So we've got accommodation, the check-in, the walking distance, RIP amenities, facilities versus general amenities and facilities, and of course the dreaded cost. How much is it going to cost you? I want this to be as informative as I can be because that's just what I like to do. So sit back, relax, and let's jump right into it. And yes, I am just going to talk about bog standard general camping, as this is what I have experience with to make comparisons. General camping is the most basic of camping packages available for Download Festival. You have the option of either 5-day camping, which starts on the Wednesday, or you can have the slightly cheaper option of 3-day camping, allowing you to arrive on the Friday. This ticket gives you access to the camping sites, village and arena areas of the site. Upon arrival, you simply park up, head to security and wristband exchange, and depending on where you camp determines the length of the walk from car to camp. In previous years, the walk has been well over an hour. Some it's been 30 minutes. This year, it was rather nice, and we actually had a walk of 10 to 15 minutes. So we were really lucky this year. It was such a godsend, honestly. In previous years, I've been the typical man, and I've wanted to just get everything moved in the first trip. In doing more and more years, I've learned this is not the way of doing things. You really want to be doing multiple trips. So the shorter trip to the car really is beneficial. Looking at this year, we managed to do 4 trips to the car before it was even midday. So if you can look at the car park and consider where you're going to park in relation to where you actually want to set up camp, you can really help yourself some real backache and stress. So that all sounds lovely, doesn't it? Parking up, having to walk potentially an hour. Should we compare that to RIP? With Sleepy Hollow and Park Farm, you pull up in your car, van, camper, whatever, and you'll have a brief vehicle search. Maybe they'll look inside, or maybe they'll do what they did to me last year and just have the dog sniff around and see if you've got anything you shouldn't. After that, you're then guided to Park Farm, where you'll cross the road into Sleepy Hollow. From there, you'll have staff guide you, exactly as you would in the normal car parks, to your designated position. From here, they'll leave a space of what they deem is necessary for a tent, and then they'll allow the next person to park up next to you. It works in a first come, first served basis, so the earlier you get there, the closer you'll be to the road, and therefore Park Farm, therefore the arena. Although I will say, to walk the extent of Sleepy Hollow, it'll probably take you 2 minutes tops, really. So I wouldn't worry about getting there late, because you have paid for your slot. You have paid for your spot where you're going to camp, so there's no way that they're going to give away your spot and you'll have nowhere to park. Once assigned a spot, you're free to do the following in whatever order you would like. So set up camp, collect wristbands, collect your welcome pack, and of course, crack your first beer of Download Festival. So to compare times to general, from arriving at Park Farm gates to crossing the road into Sleepy Hollow, guided to a space, set up. Last year, this took me a grand total of 25 minutes, which I think is incredible. I went on my own last year, so I did kind of sit there thinking, what do I do now? Obviously, your day is your own, so you can do whatever you want. District X is open. Can't go into the arena, obviously. This is if you're arriving on Wednesday or Thursday, should I say. Obviously, when camping in general, setting up and the trips to the car, it's so consumed. You don't really have time to even stop and think, oh, what should we do now? So when you do RIP for the first time, it's such a surprise. And then you can't help but think, like, well, what do I do now? But in contrast to that, you've set up and all you can do is relax or go and have a look around and just enjoy yourself. So I couldn't help but think, why has it taken me so many years to do RIP? Although obvious and fairly ridiculous, I will cover the distance from car to camp with Sleepy Hollow. It was literally 1 second. That's it. You're in your car, you step out your car, that's your pitch. That's it. It's so easy, so close, and just a real godsend. Perfection. So, walking distances. General campers' walking distance will depend on where you camp. I think that's fairly obvious. If you take a look at the map, it's obvious that campers that camp in black and blue will have a shorter walk to District X than those who camp in red or orange. But the further away from District X you are, obviously the less you'll hear the late night entertainment. So, in theory, the better night's sleep you will get. That all depends on who's camping around you, obviously. So that's all worth considering when you're choosing where to set up. So my experience this year, how long did it take to walk from Blue Camp to District X and the arena? Where we camped, it was such a perfect spot for District X. The walk was literally 12 minutes, which I would consider to be close enough, but it meant we were just far enough to not be kept awake by the late night entertainment of District X, which it's a real sweet spot, but if you get it right, you're living in bliss. It's perfect. Another bonus was on the way back from the arena. It was kind of on the way to District X. Fair enough, we had to veer off, walk through Black Camp to arrive in Blue Camp, but at least we didn't have to walk from the arena through District X, through campsites to get to our campsite, to then turn around to get back to District X again. So it was really a perfect spot. If I'm to go general camping again, I think I'll always just go for Blue Camp, really, because of its prime location, distance to the car parks. It was spot on. So I've mentioned the arena. How long did it take to walk from Blue Camp to the arena? Now, I would probably say it was 30 minutes tops, which wasn't bad, in my opinion. It's especially tolerable, shall I say, when you've had a good morning, you're walking with your nearest and dearest, you've got a beer for the journey, and you're going to see some of your favourite bands ever perform all day. So 30 minutes, it's really not that bad. I couldn't complain. Okay, so we spoke about the arena to Blue Camp. Let's compare this to Sleepy Hollow. Now, I will say that with Sleepy Hollow, it was perfect, really. You just had to cross the road, you're into Park Farm, and from Park Farm, it's a swift walk down a road through the cabin huts, and then you go past and you see the teepees, you see the airstreams, you very nearly get to guest area, and then you're into the arena. And the grand total time for this, when I did it last year, was 7 minutes. So take this 7 minutes and compare that to the 30 minutes walking to the arena from Blue Camp, and you can decide for yourselves whether you think that's worth the additional cost. For me, again, if you can have a more relaxed start to the day and you're going to save yourself some time, yeah, maybe it is worth it. But for some, to save 23 minutes for the sake of however many £100, some might just think it's not worth it. And then, of course, you've got the walk from RIP to District X. This, again, was about 12 minutes tops. So again, Sleepy Hollow, you'd cross the road into Park Farm. This time, instead of veering right and going the roadway, you'd go through the pitch where people have their camper vans and the electrical hookups, through some gates, and you're immediately in front of the co-op. And then from the co-op, it is quite literally a 2-minute walk from co-op to District X. Add that all together, you're probably looking about 7 minutes to get from Sleepy Hollow to District X. So again, really close proximity, and at any point during the day, if you're in the arena, District X, if you just want to nip back to your tent to get some food, drink, change your clothes, anything, it is so easy. Honestly, last year I found myself in the arena many times because of the hot weather, just running back to the tent, 20-minute round trip maybe, just to get some water or have a change of a t-shirt. This was another great benefit when you compare it to general camping, because there's never been an instance when I'm in the arena and thought I'm going to go and have an hour and a half round trip to the campsite, because there's never anything that I desperately need that much. Whereas when you're close enough where you can do it in 20 minutes, you're okay, whatever, we'll go and do that trip, because it's only going to take me 20 minutes. So now it's time to talk about the amenities and what Sleepy Hollow and Park Farm has in comparison to general camping. We'll start with general camping. So in terms of amenities, we're talking bog standard general camping. You've got your tent, whatever you decide to bring with you, and your amenities consist of toilets, which are portaloos, where you'll have them dotted around mainly by the entrance and exit of your campsite. You obviously have access to the portaloos in the District X area, and of course the arena. Only other real amenities you have with general is the showers, which are accessible by anyone. Anyone on site can use the general showers. So this year, they were positioned just next to Fat Frank's camping shop. By the looks of the queues this year, you could literally walk straight into the showers, the communal ones, where you're going to be sharing the same space with other people. Consider this if you're a bit shy and you don't want to get your bits out. Or talking to friends, they queued for 10 minutes and they got their own personal cubicle. So all in all, general, I don't think that's bad at all. There wasn't an instance where over the weekend we felt so dirty and so grim that we needed a shower. So we stuck to the trusty wet wipes. But if there was an instance where we really felt like we needed a shower, waiting 10 minutes to have a personal private cubicle really isn't that bad, in my opinion. Okay, so to compare that to RIP, last year when I camped in Sleepy Hollow, there were rows of showers next to the toilets, rows of maybe around 10 showers, and then opposite 10 toilets, and then there was another bay next to it, 10 showers, 10 toilets. In the mornings, I'd be getting up at the average time of around 7 o'clock, and every single day I was able to have a shower, because I got up at 7 o'clock, I was to the showers by 10 past, and there wasn't a queue at all. There were several showers free to use, so I got straight in and I was back to my camp by 7:45, ready for breakfast and ready to start getting ready to go out. That was really excellent in the way that you've paid all this money and you've seen the benefit. You're not paying all this money and then still having to queue for half an hour, 40 minutes for showers. So for me, that was really a high point of the weekend, just being able to be really clean and as clean as you needed to be without having to compromise and wait in long queues. So this is a real benefit of RIP in my eyes. One of the top benefits, if you will. Toilets in RIP, so you have your private cubicles and they're all porcelain toilets with a flush, sink, soap to use, antibacterial hand gel, lockable doors, of course, and they're perfect. I never went into one that was dirty, that it seemed as though they were always constantly being cleaned, which is, of course, brilliant. So toilets were excellent. You had use of the toilets at Park Farm Bar, which it is literally just a pub, so they're just pub toilets. And then, of course, you've got access to the general toilets within the arena and District X. Another massive, massive benefit of RIP is, of course, the guest area. So in past years, I'm talking maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, you were able to pay for an upgrade to the guest area if you were just a general camper, whereas now guest area is reserved specifically for guests of the festival and of course anyone with RIP. So in the guest area, you have a number of food vendors specifically just for you where general campers can't come and use. You have a block of toilets for gents, a block of toilets for ladies. You have a private bar, which is all undercover. So if it does rain, everyone can pile in and keep dry. You have rows of benches and tables where you can all get together and have somewhere to actually sit instead of having to sit on the ground. So if it's raining, I mean, fair enough, you might get a wet bum, but at least if you've got your poncho on, you have got somewhere to actually sit. Don't underestimate how nice it is to get the weight off your feet when you've been standing up and walking all day. So I will say last year, because of the proximity of the guest area to the arena, I didn't use the general toilets in the arena once. Every single time I thought, oh, I need the toilet, I just made the walk to the guest area because I knew I could either go and stand in a queue for 20 minutes or so for the general toilets, or I could walk for 20 minutes, not queue, and have a nice, clean toilet in the guest area. So yes, guest area, another incredible selling point for RIP in general. For me, I thought I'd miss it this year. Obviously, it's different for myself because I was able to get in as a guest. But if I was to go purely general, I think this may be something that I would miss. I feel as though I would miss the guest area, definitely. Ticket price. What we're going to do now is we're going to actually take a look at the live ticket prices as of the date of recording. I'll put the day of recording here. So obviously Download Festival, Ticketmaster more specifically do have adaptive pricing, which we all hate. And if Ticketmaster's watching this or anyone from Ticketmaster, sort it out because nobody wants that. Feel as though you're trying to trick the touters when in reality you're just punishing the fans. Get rid, move on. Let's make it all fair for everyone. If we look at 5 nights, so we're going to look at general camping price first. So there you can see per person, you're looking at £299 for general camping. So interestingly, this is actually cheaper than last year. Some of my friends paid £349 for tickets last year, so I'm just going to double check now. It's £299, but then with the booking fees and all that mumbo jumbo is going to build it up to £349. Let's take a look. Well, straight away you can see the price of a parking pass last year I'm sure was £25. Now it's £45 just to park your car on site. So you're looking £299 plus the £45. Already we're up to £344 per person. So let's just keep going and we'll see if we do get a transaction fee on top of that as well. So it looks as though because it's an e-ticket, we don't actually have a processing fee. So all in for one person is £344, which some people may think, oh, that's too expensive when they're compared to past years. Well, past years are different. The world has changed. Bands need to pay so much more to get around the world now. Vendors need to charge more for the food. Download need to pay more for the land. There's just so many things that have made life more expensive. Download Festival isn't exempt from that at all. It's going to get more expensive. That's just the way life is, unfortunately. So let's take a look at how expensive Sleepy Hollow now is. When I went last year, I paid £615. That was for the 5 days. So let's take a look at this year and see how much it is. So £615 last year has now gone up to £778. Again, we'll persist. We'll take a look at if any fees are added on afterwards, if we need to pay for parking. Let's take a look. I mean, it's clearly not sold out. Last year, I'm sure it sold out very quickly. Oh, there you go. So when you buy a Sleepy Hollow or Park Farm ticket, your parking ticket is essentially included. So maybe take £45 off that and that'll give you a more realistic price for your overall ticket. So subtotal, £778. What do we think? The difference between the two, is it worth it? So if I just do a quick calculation of 778 minus the 344 that we're paying for general, the difference between the two tickets is £434. You need to consider lots of things really. One, obviously, is this affordable for yourself? There are other options where you can do your payments over each month. This is both for, to be honest, every single ticket option now has this as an option where you can spread and finance your payments. This obviously gives more people the ability to try out these premium options, which I think is brilliant. Not everyone has £778 to just throw at Download Festival. So this is excellent to give people an opportunity to try, but you just need to decide, is the additional £434 worth the amenities, the bonuses, the perks? Some people, absolutely yes, it's a must. They need, if they don't do ROP, they're not going to Download Festival, but it's also personal. So it's £434 worth not having to walk from your car to the tent, having flushable toilets and showers ready to go whenever you need them, 12-minute walk to the arena, a 7-minute walk to District X, the additional goodie bag that you get as an RIP camper, the guest area, all of these things, is it worth £434? We could break it down further, and when you were able to upgrade in the arena as a general camper to the guest area, I'm sure this used to be around £110. So maybe consider the guest area £110. So then toilets, showers, small walk to the car, welcome package, small walk to the arena to the District X. Is that worth £324? It's completely up to you. If you can do it, go for it. You'll enjoy it. I can guarantee it. Me doing it last year, I think it's the best way to do Download Festival. Sleepy Hollow, Park Farm, they're incredible. You can park next to your tent. You don't have to lug your stuff from your car to other positions. If you can afford it, absolutely yes. I think Sleepy Hollow is the option for Download Festival. But I will say, general camping this year was excellent. This year was one of my favourite experiences of Download Festival. Fair enough, in RIP, you've got your own space. It's quiet. You can get to many places quicker than you would otherwise from general. But I can only talk from experience. I can only talk from what friends have told me this year who did RIP. and they simply missed the community. The community feel of general versus RIP is evidently quite different. In general camping this year, I was surrounded by all my friends. We just had a brilliant time. If anyone needed anything, there were many people there ready to help. So for me, it's more of a family thing, more of a community with general. With RIP, a lot more people may want to keep themselves to themselves. This is why they've done RIP, because they like their own space, and that's perfectly fine. I completely understand that. But a number of friends that went and did RIP this year after doing general so many times actually ended up missing that community feeling. They felt as though they couldn't talk to people as openly as they could in general. Now, this is obviously down to who they've camped next to, and those people just really wanting to just enjoy the festival for themselves, and that's fine. I can't comment on this because last year I had a lovely group of friends that I didn't know before setting up. They spotted that I was on my own and they took me in, and I ended up spending majority of my weekend with them. So it all completely depends on you as a person, how approachable you can be, how you want to approach other people, each to their own. So there you have it. That's Sleepy Hollow and Park Farm compared to general camping. Which one do you think you'll go for? Do you think you'll splash the cash and go for RIP next year? Or are you going to stay with the scruffs like me and stay in general camping? Myself, I'm going to wait until closer to the festival and see if we can get a cheaper ticket for Sleepy Hollow or Park Farm. Failing that, I'm really not that bothered. I'm quite happy to go in general camping. So thank you all for taking the time to watch my video today. If you had listened to it in podcast form, thank you. And if you do want to watch the video where you may see some maps, some video footage from past years, just explaining a bit better rather than just listening, jump over onto YouTube, subscribe and enjoy it there as well. Of course, go and check out my past videos. We've got the extensive vlog of RIP last year. So I cover a lot of what I've spoken about today in a lot more detail. Or if you want to check out general, I did that this year, so you can do your own comparisons really through the two videos. So don't forget to like and subscribe. We've got much more content coming, and of course, we've got Bloodstock on the horizon. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.